So, up until today, it had been a while since I heard anything from Single Mother. And if you remember, the last time I saw her was when she spent the night over here and she gave me a hug and a kiss on the cheek when she left. And that was like 2 weeks ago, something like that. And I hadn't heard anything at all from her since then. And I already knew she didn't actually like me like that because she's actually pretty good looking for a 30 something year old woman. And I'm not good looking at all for a 36-year-old man. I'm ugly as shit, but still, it felt like we had gotten pretty close in a relatively short amount of time since we met. And I mean, I kind of figured it didn't mean much to her since she's normal, and well, she's kind of an extrovert too. So, she's a normal person. She's got lots of friends. She's got a normal social life. But to me, I don't know, it just felt like we were starting to become friends. And, to me, that would mean that she's my only friend. And I know that men and women can't really be friends, but whatever. I had been feeling kinda bad about not hearing from her for a while. Because, we did stay up all night together talking the last time I saw her, so I don't know. Am I wrong to have thought maybe we were friends? I don't know. But either way, it doesn't matter now. Because she just texted me a couple hours ago, and I haven't even responded yet. Probably not going to, because whatever, it doesn't really matter anyway. But yeah, basically, I just got a text from her saying that her and her husband are getting back together and she can't talk to me anymore. Or actually, she just said that her husband is moving back into their house with her. So I assume that means they're getting back together, but I don't really know. But why else would she say that she can't talk to me anymore? It sucks. I mean, it kind of sucks, but it's whatever. I'm not really that upset about it because, like I said, I knew the whole time that she doesn't like me in a romantic way. And if anything, I think she just kind of saw me as like a gay best friend type of guy that she could dump all her emotional baggage on. So I don't really care because I don't really care to play that role in a woman's life. The only thing that I do care about in all of this is, I guess this means that baby won't get to see her baby anymore because I do think that that was good for him. And I mean, it's good for her son too, just to be around another baby. And yeah, I know that the babies they never really seem to interact that much because they're a little bit too young to really care about play dates and all that. But, eventually they would have gotten old enough to actually interact with each other. And that would be really good for baby because, otherwise he hasn't gotten to interact with any other babies at all. But, I mean, it's still kind of like, it does feel bad, for talking about from my own perspective in all of this. It feels bad because, like I say, I was starting to feel like I had at least made a friend. Or at the very least, it was just that a woman was willing to be within reaching distance of me for a prolonged period of time. I think that was doing something for my self esteem. Not much. Not much, because I've known the whole time our relationship was transactional. Like, if baby wasn't here, she'd have no reason to be hanging out with me. But still, she did show me some human kindness. I'll give her that, and that was something. Or I don't know. I guess I guess maybe it wasn't really something. Maybe it wasn't something. Maybe it was all meaningless. But yeah, it to me right now, it just kind of feels like I'm being tossed to the side like a piece of garbage. And my only consolation in all this, I guess, is that at least she did actually text me to say that she can't talk to me anymore. So I guess she cared at least that much. And just the other day, I actually asked my mom if she had heard anything from her because it did cross my mind, maybe she's sick or something. Because I don't know, am I wrong or is it not reasonable that for me to expect to hear from someone after they had spent the night at my house? I mean, with the situation being what it was, like she just showed up here unannounced in the middle of the night and we let her spend the night here. And me, I stayed up with her all night, letting her blabber on about all her emotional baggage and her relationship issues. And you'd expect at least a thank you text or something, right? You would expect something like that. And I would have even thought that I would see her out in the neighborhood or something. Even before we actually met, I saw her probably, I don't know, a dozen times or something just out walking around. So this whole time that didn't hear anything from her, I thought, well, maybe she just hasn't been texting me because she knows we're going to run into each other sooner or later. But I guess that wasn't it. That wasn't the reason. The truth was just that she's just been busy getting back together with her husband, I guess. And that's good. That's good for her. That's probably good for her baby, their baby. I'm sure they'll be happy together. Just the guy that she was so afraid of that she had to run away from her house in the middle of the night. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure she'll live happily ever after with him. Or maybe everything she's ever said about him is just total bullshit. Maybe he's actually a great guy and she's just a compulsive liar or something. Because really, I don't know her that well, so who knows? Honestly, though, I don't care. I don't even care. This is what it's like. This is what life is like. This is what women are like. And really, I know this is going to be controversial with some of my viewers, but I don't think men are any better than women either. And I wonder sometimes, when baby gets older, if I'm still fortunate enough to be in his life, which I do plan to be, do I teach him the truth about human nature? Or do I just let him be happy for a while, and just let him live in ignorant blue pill bliss? Because maybe it's kind of like how you let your kids believe in Santa Claus for a while. I used to not really get it. I used to think that was stupid, that we as a society all collectively agree to lie to children about this one thing, Santa Claus. Because I thought, that's just going to teach kids that they can't actually trust their parents. But now I'm thinking, it kind of makes sense. And maybe it's a good thing. Because maybe kids need to learn that lesson. They need to learn not to trust their parents and not to trust anybody. But, aside from that, maybe the whole reason we do it, we lie about Santa Claus, it's just so we can give the kids one thing in their life to be happy about in this cruel world, Maybe it's just something we do to let kids experience a bit of wonder and excitement in this cold, brutally predictable world. Because all the future sub-5s out there, they need that, probably. Because if they don't get to experience something like that then they probably never will. And I don't know. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I don't know why the hell I'm talking about Santa Claus right now. That's just how mentally unstable I am, I guess. An everyday, plain Jane, average American woman walks into my life just briefly, just very briefly, She gives me a little bit of comfort, makes me think, hey, maybe not all women are so bad. This one's kinda nice. Then nope. She just all of a sudden tee-hee, bye-bye, loser. Thanks for the free place to stay while Chad was out probably sleeping with other women. But she'll drop anything for Chad. I mean, the whole time she was acting like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. I have to make sure he doesn't have any custody rights. He's so scary. You know, these are the things she was saying about her husband. But I guess all of that was bullshit. Or, I don't know, he's just so alpha she doesn't care. The truth is probably more like she was just waiting for it to be her turn again. But seriously, I don't care. And I'm not surprised by any of this. I mean, the only surprising part is that a woman was friendly to me in the first place. But I guess that was probably all just transactional, so, you know, whatever. And I'm not really surprised to learn that's what it was, but, you know, in the moment, it felt nice. You know, my brain in that moment felt like it was a real human connection. But whatever. It's like if you were playing some immersive VR game all day, then you finally took the headset off. It probably, you know, while you were in the game, your brain probably actually felt like you were really there in that world. It's like you see those clips of people punching their TV on accident or falling down or whatever because the VR is so effective at tricking them into thinking they're really in that world. Well, for me, a quote-unquote nice woman being friendly to me for a while, that's like a form of virtual reality. At least that's how it feels. And honestly, I'm kind of worried about this woman now because, I mean, I don't even want to tell my mom about this, but, I mean, I'm going to have to. And actually, maybe she already texted my mom too, I don't know. But knowing my mom, she is not going to take this well. She's the type of person, you know, she just lives for drama. And I wouldn't even be surprised if she actually drives over to Single Mother's house just to talk shit in person. I mean, I hope she doesn't do anything like that, but I really don't know. She might. But yeah, the worst part of all this, without a doubt, the worst part is that Baby has to miss out on having a friend. Because as much as I talk about how unfair the whole situation is to me, Baby is the one that suffers the most. And Single Mother's son too, like it's not fair to him either. Although, I mean, in his case, he is going to get to spend more time with his actual dad, which may or may not be a good thing, I don't know. Because, I mean, 99% of the time, it is a good thing for a kid to have their father in their life, but if this guy is actually as bad as she was making him out to be, then maybe he is that 1%. So, I don't know. I really am pathetic. You know, because I know all about human nature. I know about hypergamy, however you say it, and the flippantly hypergamous behavior that women exhibit in this joke of a society. I know about it. And I don't hate women for it. I'm not a misogynist or anything because I get it. It's, you know, it's human nature. Modern women are just existing within the larger framework that is this clown society, and their behavior is perfectly logical given the clown-ass circumstances of the clown-ass society we live in. You know, like you couldn't be mad at an elephant at the circus if it tried to stomp on someone here and there, because, I mean, what do you expect? It's locked up in the circus, and it's supposed to be out in the savannah roaming free. So, I really don't blame women for how they act these days, but damn it, I do know how they are, yet still, after all of my life experiences, you know, even after the whole gym girl situation, still, all it takes for me to start second guessing all of it, everything I've learned throughout my entire life, is one, average looking. I mean, and let's be honest, she's past her prime at this point. All it takes is for one low quality, glowless hag to show me like an ounce, a tiny sliver of attention. And I forget everything I've learned throughout my entire life about how women are. Whatever, I wish her the best.